Hello. Um, yeah, hello to my talk. Actually, originally we were offered a larger spot, so I was supposed to talk about B2B a lot. Since I was invited to show a Magento case by the Meet Magento guys, I will focus on the case now instead of too much philosophy. Yeah, who am I? I'm an e-commerce consultant. This photo is courtesy of Adobe. Thanks for that. I'm a pretty much certified person. I used to be a developer and later on got involved in business consulting. And I work for a company called Flagbit. We are based in Karlsruhe and got a lot of fun in our working time. And yeah, we basically do a lot of e-commerce solutions around Germany and Europe. Originally, like Transtec is the customer I want to showcase here. And originally I wanted to stand on this stage together with one of those beautiful guys over here. They are head of marketing and sales at Transtec. Transtec is a company that is in the high-tech IT branch, and they sell high-performance computing solutions as well as servers, and they were looking for a possibility to get their portfolio sold to customers. And the big thing in the project was this configuration thing. And in the they were working in the B2B environment, and to us it's important to provide the customers the right user interfaces to get their jobs done, and that's why this configuration process was key. And I want to talk about this right now. Obviously, like, the resolution isn't that fine, but I can promise you that this doesn't look any good anyways. It's like the 1999 version of a website in a configuration. And I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look too sharp. And in the beginning, I didn't even notice how I could exchange in a server configuration, how I can exchange parts of that. Like, and it had a lot of hidden features that people may or may not have known about. And the key fact of the project was to build a better user interface for that. Yeah, on a large screen this worked very, very nicely, but on a phone it didn't do any good. So what requirements did we have? First of all, performance is always something. They were introducing a new ERP system, and that ERP system featured response times of around 45 seconds. And in a web environment, 45 seconds obviously is not a good speed. So we had to find how to improve that a lot. The key thing was to support the sales staff of Transtec. They were originally just driving to customers with paper forms and making little numbers and then facsimiling them to the headquarters, and somebody else was putting in the ERP system. So they wanted to use the web application instead of that. And like, we had a 2-week schedule for the first launch and a 6-month schedule to have the whole configuration process, while the former agency had 2 years and had failed to do that, to deliver that in those 2 years. And they had there's this, like, who of you knows Thomas Krenn? It's a server specialist, and that was the showcase. They said it should be like this. And so we analyzed it and tried to do something like that. So, like, I just had, since we don't have a lot of time, I just want to show different steps in the, like, to find the right solutions, and yeah, why it failed. So first version, what did the agency try to do beforehand? Like, obviously they introduced this new ERP system, Microsoft Dynamics, AX, and this AX already has a configuration thing. But obviously this configuration thing was not useful when it came to building a configuration with 50,000 different components and a rule set that told me which component fits together and which don't, and how many, and so on and so forth. So as I said, this resulted in something like 45 seconds response time, and yeah, they couldn't find a solution for that in 2 years of work. So then those guys like invited us, and yeah, we had to find a solution in like 6 months. So our first solution obviously was like, whenever you have a configuration logic already in AX, let's have a thin client in the front end and just use the configuration. And they were huge fans of that, obviously, in the beginning, because that always sounds like we don't reproduce the same functionality again. Like, it's already there, why don't you use it? And yeah, we pretty fast came to the solution like that this is not a valid approach, because again, like, we faced like 30 seconds, 35 seconds. And the reason behind that is, like in a lot of ERP cases, that those systems are not made for speed like that. And yeah, by default, it's not a good solution to try to add a shop layer on top of an ERP system directly. A lot of our customers in the beginning say they already have an SAP system. Why don't we put something on top of it? Like, just because performance is not something that those ERP systems are made for. So the second solution for that was like, let's try to like just use the backend logic and have something like a front end logic integrated directly into Magento, and then yeah, you go from there. And then we had like 2 or 3 meetings about that, and in the end we found out that the configuration logic did not provide the right APIs. Like to make something like that work, we need APIs in the backend to get to know the backend logic. But as soon as this is something custom, some custom add functionality, it doesn't come with APIs. So they told us, okay, we can create those APIs for you, but it'll take around 100 man days, they always said, to create it over there. So whenever we have half a year to create it, and half a year is 110 man days, and it takes like 100 of those to create the APIs, obviously that's not a solution as well. So in the end, luckily we got the one guy and the one CEO. He said, okay, whenever that's not possible, let's throw away all the logic we created in the last 2 years. Like, they threw away 1.5 years of work at that time. And sometimes that's just key to getting a project running. And what we did is we created a whole new middleware thing that takes all the data, just the data, not the logic, like the 50,000 components, and push them into a middleware. The middleware does all the data transformation and puts them into a format that we can easily use in the front end, and the front end itself is just thin again. So why do we do something like that instead of putting it into the shop system? Because normally it's not a good idea from an architecture point of view to have one spot where a lot of complexity is bundled. And additionally, like, we wanted to make a special interface for the salespersons that don't use the shop, but they use the configuration logic. Yeah. Additionally, we faced a couple of other things in that regard. Like, for example, they don't want to use the shop front end's version of user management. They had a special demand when it came to user management. For example, they had, like, a customer is not a customer. In the B2B environment, a lot of times you have multi-level customers, like one customer, a couple of users with a lot of rights management things. So that's nothing any of the e-commerce systems provide out of the box. So you have to take care of that by yourself. And for a couple of reasons, it was more suitable to do that in the middleware perspective than in the front end. And that's why we had to take care of a couple of processes in there. And they wanted to use it as a marketing thing. Like, they wanted to automatically create something like those PDF product things. So, and then additionally, we had a pretty international setup. They like, it's not a company that is just based in Germany. It's a company that has 5 different subsidiaries in different areas of Europe. And all of them are independently, have their own ERP systems and so on. So let's show the result of that. Like, this obviously is a landing page showing the configuration thing. And this looks a bit like the Thomas Krenn case before. It's not really clear. Like, this is the product, and down here we have the configuration stuff. This is a salesperson's view, so over here we see the number of stock of the different products, and you only see that, like, you can do the configuration stuff while you're not logged in, but you don't see any prices. And additionally, you have stuff like ask for proposals and so on and so forth. Additionally, those prices are customer specific. That means every customer sees a different price based on his sales and trade conditions. And yeah, it's not like you have 5 different things you can configure in such a configuration process. It's like this many options, and the complexity behind it is quite big. Additionally, as I said, they wanted to have something to provide their salespersons a different front end. And you see this nice little window to the bottom left, and that helps them to log into a customer's view and support him while he is ordering stuff or create certain configurations and certain proposals for that customer. And right now, they threw away the whole functionality in the ERP system as a whole because the salespersons like the speed and the ease of use of that web application much more than the one in Microsoft Dynamics. As I said before, we wanted to use it as a marketing thing as well, and that's why we have this nice little corporate design-based, automatically created product information things generated out of the information in the system. Why is Magento 2 an excellent choice to do something like that? Obviously, like, if you know Magento was created in 2008. Magento 2 was created in 2015, so we have a 7-year newer product, and that brings a lot of improvements. Like, the performance of that is like, originally we had like the 45 seconds thing. This has the average response time of 500 milliseconds, even though it includes customer-specific prices, it includes the current stock information and so on. It includes modern technologies, and it's pretty flexible like Magento was before. The architecture is pretty modular, which makes it much easier to include any new things to that installation. And that makes it a good thing to start complex systems. So, as I said before, I wanted to make it fast. Don't want to bore anybody. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so thanks a lot.